Hi, and welcome to Growing Up Guide Pup. This week we joined our group for a little bit of training and some fun with a puppy pool party. So if you saw week 24, we took Ricky to the Jelly Belly factory where there was a setup for her to try different surfaces to walk on. Once again, Ricky didn't seem to have a problem with any of these surfaces. She walked across some metal grates and also a wooden fence. Our next stop was doing a little recall training with the group. A recall is when I call Ricky and tell her to come. She needs to stop what she's doing immediately and come right to me. Now, she was in a different backyard. She hadn't been in this backyard, and we were on some grass, and of course, it smells fantastic, so she was slightly distracted, but when I called her, she did fantastic and came right to me. So when we're training with the group, sometimes Ricky can be a little distracted. There's lots of different dogs around, and she knows these dogs, and she likes these dogs, so it can pose to be a challenge, but sometimes she can really turn it on and do fantastic and leave all the other dogs alone and focus on what she is working on. So after a few different training exercises, it was time for us to have some fun and start the puppy pool party. So if you saw episodes week 17 and 18, this is when we introduced Ricky to the pool for the first time. And in week 17, she really couldn't figure out how to get into the pool, but she really wanted to. In week 18, we met up with her mom, and her mom got in the pool, so Ricky was very much encouraged by her mom, and she was able to get in the pool all by herself. Well, this week, once again, she had a little trouble figuring out how to get in the pool. Even though I was in the pool, she couldn't quite figure out how to get in. But she finally got in, and when she was in, she didn't want to leave. Ricky seems to be a natural swimmer. She's so comfortable in the water. Even if I were to grab her, she doesn't panic. She sits there and she paddles very slowly and very calmly, and she was just having a blast, and it was so much fun swimming with her. At one point, she was so excited and trying so hard to get into the pool, she actually broke the leash that we were using. She was pulling back and forth, trying to figure out how to join me in the pool, and the leash just snapped. So we had to put a different one on her. She wasn't bad in any way. She was pretty much focused and wanting to play with the other dogs in the pool, but she did really well. If I steered her around, she would go off and swim on her own and leave the other dogs alone. I didn't want her causing the other dogs to get panicked by her trying to climb on them and play with them in the pool. So we tried to stay far away from the other dogs and kind of hang out in the deep end because she was really comfortable swimming. So this week she didn't exactly jump in the water. She kind of laid down on the edge of the pool and kind of glided in. It worked for her, and she had no problem figuring out how to get out. I would steer her towards the step and let her stand on there, and at times she would just stand on the step, take a break, and then say, okay, I'm good, and try to go back into the pool. And I have to say, it was actually kind of exhausting trying to keep up with her in the water. She can swim pretty darn fast, and she was off on her own, and I had to keep up with her to make sure she didn't cause any ruckus with any of the other dogs. Well, that wraps it up for this week. A huge thank you to our puppy leader, Marty, for opening her house and her pool for letting us go and swim. It was a fantastic time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a huge blast making this episode, and tune in next week when we hope to have a nice surprise for our viewers.